We have finally reached the last episode of my indie wishlist series. That's right, I've made my way to the end of my wishlist for 2023. But I'm definitely not out of games to cover, not by a long shot. So you'll all see me again next year. We Kill Monsters is a mysterious adventure game set inside a giant layered pit. Survive, navigate, and hunt fallen angels, solo or with friends, and use the towering landmarks around you to help you find your way. Ghostbike puts players in the shoes of a streetwise kid from Free Hub City on a mission to revive the last of the Ghostbikes, the magical couriers who rode between the world of the living and the world of the dead. To a T is a game with a strong focus on character, interaction, story, and exploration, and it's about a teenager with a unique posture. They're stuck in a T-pose. This one comes to us from the mind behind the Katamari series, so it actually makes perfect sense if you think about it. Corponation, the sorting process, is kind of a mix between Papers, Please and Hypnospace Outlaw. You're a valued employee of the Ringo Corponation. As a genetic sample sorter, you can earn credits, shop, game, and pay your bills. Just don't be fooled by any rogue workers who may try to entice you into betraying your beloved employer. Venture through the labyrinth of the Demon King, solving puzzles and fighting fearsome monsters in an epic quest to track down the demon who betrayed your lord and end its life. This is a first-person survival horror game set in a world inspired by feudal Japan. Samurai Unicorn, a favorite on this channel. The developers are fantastic, and so is their game. It's a retro-inspired action survival horror game set in a dystopian version of Sydney. Play as a young member of the police force as you fight to take down the Dream Eaters that are threatening your future. Cart Life is a story-based life sim starring 3 street vendors in a small city. Guide their new ventures selling newspapers, coffee, and bagels. Set up shop, manage your budget, serve your customers, and try to survive. While looking for the existence of the great beyond, Professor Patrick Moore, aided by a fake medium, will build a device to see the other side in an English haunting. Embark on the search for a powerful artifact and investigate the most haunted manor of 1907 England. We don't know much about Strange Shadow, but running and hiding from giant scary creatures is definitely a part of it. Other than that, you need to make your way across this alien planet and ultimately find a way to escape. If you're enjoying this series, you might also want to check out my Steam curator page, linked below. Golembert is an illustrated story game about a gardener golem that takes care of the plants and spirits on his own small island. Grow and trade fresh veggies, meet lovable characters, decorate your garden, and try to make the world a better place. Booklice Prologue is the first in a trilogy of approachable adventure games. This first installment follows Liz the librarian in a thrilling tale of murder and ancient books. The developer of this one has a bunch of other short horror and investigation games on Steam, including The Supper, which is completely free and I highly recommend. I love this next one, Roman Sands Rebuild. You wake up trapped in a strange paradise where you work at a luxury resort and must tend to the needs of 4 cranky guests. Plus there's a whole time loop thing going on. But this isn't the real world. That one is completely uninhabitable, so you've locked yourself away in a research facility. I know, I don't get it either, but it's great. Go play the demo. Sunzai is a 2D action brawler platforming RPG. Discover the threads that bind people together and the nature of magic all wrapped up in this beautiful inky art style. All aboard the wackiest train ride of your life in Trip, a surreal first-person walking sim that promises to be a captivating adventure, sometimes frightening, but above all, wonderful. And that's because this is a special train that'll take you through the frontier between dreams and reality. It's impossible for me to resist a fixed-camera survival horror game, and Sin and Host the Diner is exactly this. Take control of Hanako and her younger sister Aiko as they navigate the early days of a zombie outbreak in a desperate search for their missing parents. Made entirely out of clay, Visceratum takes place in a dark world that'll grip you like a tangle of swarming tentacles. play as a biohacker and take on a hypercorporation run by a crazed biomass. Not to be confused with Dave the Diver, Dive Hard Dave is a side-scroller stealth game that involves a decent amount of diving, and it's set in a post-apocalyptic world shattered by a massive tsunami and rising sea levels. Strat is a driving game about the underappreciated cars and cultures of Eastern Europe. You play as a newcomer in the already sprawling street racing scene. Equipped with nothing but your uncle's old car, you may have to play dirty to win. Helvetic is a medieval fantasy game set in a fictional region of 15th century Hungary. Discover this alternate history version of the Ottoman conquest as Paul, a fair knight, as you unveil secret doors and hidden passageways, engage in turn-based combat, and explore this beautifully illustrated isometric world. And finally, from the creators of Rain World, this is Airframe Ultra. Much different than their previous game, this violent hoverbike racer gives you a chance to compete for glory and fame in a brutal and desperate world. See you in 2024.